Picture this. In just 30 seconds, you can transform your idea into beautiful masterpieces that leave your audience in awe.
My name is Ayodele Awi. I'm a career coach and the lead consultant at Career Drive Academy. Mindscape is not just knowledge, it is a community, a sanctuary for like-minded individuals who test for intellectual growth and crave meaningful connections. Within these sessions, you will find a network of passionate learners, mentors, and friends who would uplift and inspire you on this extraordinary journey. Join us at Mindscape, where the doors to unlimited possibilities swing open, where your mind will be liberated and where you will discover your untapped potential within. Together, we will reshape the boundaries of human potential, one mind at a time. And this is it. All right. So, can everyone see my screen? Can I have a
Yes, you can, sir.
All right, great.
Go.
Now, because I've got my journey set up before, you probably don't need to. I mean, I'm not doing that freshly. So if you haven't done it before, you can just set up an account. There's a paid version of it. You can upgrade that, but don't worry about that. If you want to have some basic understanding of how Journey works, you can come to the Get Started guide, and that gives you a guide on how to get started with using Journey. Please don't forget, for tools that you're always using, always find a way to bookmark them. So if I take you to my screen right here, other bookmarks, and I open, you can see the one I have here, which is called Writing Assistant. Now, for my Writing Assistant, these are the things that I use most frequently. You can see Deep Hell Write, which is also is a writing companion. This helps you to rephrase. So if you've got something written down, but you want it to sound very professional, you want it to sound very niche, you can go to Deep Hell Write, and then this can change your entire text to something very standard. I'll show you that later on. Paper Pal is also something you can use to edit your work. You don't need to pay an editor. You can edit an entire document with Paper Pal. Writing AI, that's the journey that we're just going to learn how to use now. Online summarizing tool is fantastic for people that have tons of books to read and you don't have the time to read all of them. Sotero is a research assistant that helps you to become really organized with your research work. That's Sotero, and you can keep your folders together. You can do references. ChatPDF is a document that it's something that helps you to interact with documents. So PDF documents, I'm going to also show that, and you can interact with them. You can query them. You can summarize PDFs for you. This is not the best to do, and I must stress this part. So for some people, you want to make sure you don't have over reliance on AI tools, because what that does is that it makes you very lazy. AI cannot do the work for you. AI can simplify the process, but you have to understand it. And I'm going to talk to, when I start talking about ChatGPT, I'm going to tell you some of the advantages of still learning to do these things yourself and still taking your time to read and know what to do. Now, one of the challenges with AI too is that's why they call it artificial intelligence tools. It's intelligent, but it is going to be as intelligent as the owner makes it. So these tools are tools that can be taught. You have to teach it to become better. If you don't train your AI tools, your AI tool will give you something shabby like what every other person can get from it. The best way to make your AI gives you the best is to, for yourself, become the best in that area. So you have to read materials, you have to study very deeply, you have to know how to query the AI tool. The more you learn how to query it better, the more you have better outcomes and better results from using it, okay? And an agent GPT is something you can give an assignment or a task to, and then agent GPT will just go and do that task for you and generate results for you. This is also something that helps you discover and create and publish research papers. It's called the Sci Space. And then this is Lateral Help. This is Clive Rule, this is Glaps, this is Audio Pen. I find Audio Pen very useful because Audio Pen, for some of you that have, what you do is talking and you don't have the time to save you don't have the time to start writing. So with Audio Pen, you can actually record, you can start talking the way I'm talking now, and you can use Audio Pen to just bring all of your thoughts together. It's going to convert your audio messages to text messages, and from there you can write a book or you can do whatever you want to do with that. This is Search Consensus. There is Evidence Hunt for clinical researchers. There is Search Smart that helps you to search precise documents. There is also Kick Resume. Just a moment. I think the sun is now becoming all right. Yeah, perfect. And there is the ChatGPT, and this one helps you to make beautiful charts. So you want to have a line graph, you want to have a bar chart of certain things, you can query it and it can develop that for you. All right, so let's come back to, so the reason I showed you this is because I said don't forget to always bookmark. It helps you to just go back to those things very easily. So these are my writing bookmarks. I've got tons of other bookmarks, and I'll see if I can just show you and show us a little bit of how to start. So let's start with a fresh document, okay? So I'll just go to new documents. Now, the first thing that Jenny will ask me is, what am I writing on today? You can give it any topic. And it says here, add more context for higher quality generation. And that's the whole thing. So you're able to, the more you understand what you're looking for, the more you are able to, use that to achieve results. So let's imagine that I want to write on something around, it could be anything. Can anybody give me an idea so that this is useful to you? I think somebody smart should just tell me something you are working on, so you can start building it from there. Anybody? But if you don't have anything, I can just say green industrial policy in Nigeria. So I can say the prospects for a green industrial policy in Nigeria. All right, so let's see, and I can tell Jenny start writing. So Jenny already has what I want to write, and you can see I'm not doing anything. Jenny has just said, in recent years, the concept of a green industrial policy has gained significant attention as countries around the world strive to combat climate change and promote sustainable development. If I love what it's saying, I can say accept. And then he writes the next sentence for me. If I don't like what Jenny has said, I can say, I want to see the alternative to this because I don't like that. And it tells you another thing. Nigeria, as a developing country with immense potential for economic growth and industrialization, has also recognized the importance of adopting a green industrial policy. And I can continue to accept. And before you know it, you can develop an entire document around this to get you started. There are a couple of things I've used it for, and you can see on my screen here some of the things that I've been able to think about and use it for. I think the role of social policy and things like that. So, but that's how Jenny works. Now, before I move from Jenny to something else, I'd like to just take a question from anyone. What do you think? Any questions?
Sorry, let me ask Ayo.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much. I'm just wondering, what's the difference between Jenny and ChatGPT? I feel like maybe they're giving this not really the same information, because this one is just aiding you in writing. It's like ChatGPT generates a whole sort of information. Maybe you can just help us understand.
Yeah.
Maybe when we get there.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. That's a beautiful question. So they are very similar in the way they work. The difference is that ChatGPT creates content for you. So if you need a content, ChatGPT, it's beautiful to just bring the content and give you that content. And for that content, you can say, oh, I like this, I don't like this, and this and that. What Jenny AI does is to give you bits and bits of pieces of information so that you can yourself put it together or rearrange those bits and pieces of information. As you can see, it was writing line by line here, and I could accept, ignore, change. I could do whatever I want to do with it line by line. So why this is great, it's also using the functionality of ChatGPT itself. And that was why I said when I started that ChatGPT is like the foundation for most of these things. So it uses the same method of ChatGPT, but this is essentially useful if you're having a writer's block. So for example, let's say that I'm writing a book and I've just got into a chapter on green industrial policy in Nigeria. And this chapter is giving me a lot of challenges. I could go to ChatGPT. ChatGPT could give me content, but the content might not be enough or might not be very tailored to what I want. It might not be following my line of thought. Then I can come to Jenny AI and I can start putting my thoughts together. Maybe I want it to talk about policies strictly. I don't need any information around. So I'm just going to show you this. Let's go to ChatGPT. And my ChatGPT is always on my screen here. You can log it in. And it asks if you have not logged in before, you can sign up. And if you've logged in before, you can go to your account and just continue. And so if I get to my ChatGPT and I go to a new chat, all right, if we go to a new chat, okay, I'm just going to lift this up there, and I says, write an article on green industrial policy in Nigeria. And I say, give me that. Now, what ChatGPT is going to do is to download, based on information it can find on the internet, download a couple of information for me. And this information can be useful if I'm looking for a quick summary. But if I'm writing a book, this is not what I'm going to put in my book. All right, this is very, what can I call it? It's like just peripheral information. It's very surface. So if I'm looking for something that is deeper than this, I can read this for a good start, but I can then go to Jenny AI to start really developing what I really want. And I can rearrange, I can ensure that my contents are aligned towards the goals of what I intend to write. Did that answer your question?
Very well, Ayo. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. So people were putting some things in the chat box the other time. Sorry about that. I missed that. But thank you so much, God's gift. I see that he's been able to respond to many of the questions that we're having. Thank you. How do we ensure we don't fall into the trap of plagiarism when using AI tools? Very important question. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that if you have the way I put this question, and I put it into ChatGPT, if many of us use ChatGPT this way, we're going to have very similar response. Now, the arrangement of the response would even be entirely the same in terms of giving you an introduction, giving you bullet points like this, giving you, giving you some key things, itemizing it. The arrangement, the structure of the article, and the conclusion, those things are they're going to be very, very similar. Which is why one of the things I tell people to avoid falling into the trap of plagiarism, learn to train your AI tool, understand what you want to do, and then find ways to do it by telling it not to give you an entire document, but telling it to give you something quite specific. So I'll give you an example. If I want to write on green industrial policy in Nigeria, what I would do is to first go and read about green industrial policy, find some things to read, get some knowledge, make some notes on my sticky notes, and then I can start talking about outlines. So one of the things I will do is I can come here and say, and usually I do this for my AI too. So for example, I'm just going to show us an example here. Okay, let me go to this, investing in green industrial policies, and I'm going to see if, okay, yeah. So look at this. Now, this was a time I was trying to write something, and I provided a context for my AI too. The Dangote refinery is an oil refinery owned by Aliko Dangote that was inaugurated on the 22nd of May 2023 in Lekki, Nigeria. When in full operation, it is expected to have the capacity to process 650,000 barrels per day of crude oil, making it the largest single train refinery in the world. There are three concerns I have about the implication of that on climate politics. Now, this is me telling the AI tool that these are the concerns I have. What I have now told the AI tool to do is develop a newspaper article to emphasize the need for Nigeria to invest in green industrial policy, articulating the points above and highlighting the climate impact and global politics implications of the new Dangote refinery. I have not said, AI, what is green industrial policy? If I do that, AI is going to tell me, it's going to give me the same information that it will give everybody. But look at all this context I've given to my AI. Nobody is going to give the AI the same context that I've provided. And so by the time the AI gives me an information, you can be sure that this information is going to be very specific, very tailored, very different from what everybody is going to have. And so there's no risk of plagiarism at all in this, okay? There's no risk whatsoever. It will give me something very, very separate and something very, very unique, different from what everybody else has done. And so what other people also do sometimes is that even if you feel that there's a risk of plagiarism, then you can go to paraphrasing tool. And one of the paraphrasing tools I use a lot is called QBot. And I'm going to just copy QBot here into the chat box. But again, one of the things I must say now is that there are also tools now. There are new tools that can also dictate if you have used AI tools completely to deliver a work. So I always tell people, don't use AI tools for everything you want to do. Always make sure that, something is coming from you. So for example, the context I gave here, they are very specific to me, and it's also going to be something different. So let's say this climate crisis looms. I feel like there's a risk of this being plagiarized. I can go to a paraphrasing tool, and again, please bear in mind there is really no risk in this particular context, in this particular example, but I'm just saying, for example, I can copy this and go to my paraphrasing tool, and I can copy here and tell it to paraphrase this text for me. And what this is going to do is to give me something that is already paraphrased, and it is not exactly what is here. It's something paraphrased and it's a little bit different, and I can copy this and use it in my text. All right, but don't forget where I started from. Never rely too much on AI tools. It can be very, very dangerous. What you do is that the more you rely on it, the more you lose the confidence to even do anything on your own, and then it's going to tell. I imagine in 10 years time, people will be writing a lot of good things, a lot of good work, but can they defend it? That would be the question. Can you actually speak to what you've written down and defend it, and to show that that thing has come from the depth of your knowledge? Now, since we are talking about doing research and we don't want to do all these quick works, how exactly should you do a research? I'm going to go to that now. If you really want to do a research and you want to do very detailed work, then there is a fantastic research tool that is called Elicit.org. Elicit is a research assistant. This is exactly what you need if what you're doing is research. Every other thing that we're doing is for you to do some quick, write-ups. So Jenny AI, ChatGPT, they're fantastic if you want to do an article. You just want to write a quick article, you want to write a blog post, you want to do, those very quick things that you can just quickly get up doing. But if you want to write a research paper, you want to do a detailed work that will show depth of, knowledge and research, what you need is elicit.org. And let me see. Okay, have I dropped that? Have I dropped that in the chat box before? Okay, I'm going to drop that again. Okay. Sorry, just a moment.
You've dropped that before.
Okay, great. So you can
no, you've not.
Okay. So I'm going to send it to you. You can help me repost it as well to everyone. All right, let's move. So for Elicit, you also have to have an account, sign up, and then log in with your account. And as you can see, I've signed up already. It's saying I have an account and I can sign in with my Google. And it just goes to my Elicit. This is fantastic. I think anybody doing research work must learn how to use Elicit. You have to learn it. It's the best bet for you. So this is where you should start from if you want to do research work. And so before this one as well, I would also state something. I know I'm talking about many things already, and I really hope that we're picking many of these things, but I'm trying to also record the video so that we can come back to it later. One of the key things that you also need, particularly if you're doing research, because in research, you're expected to read a lot of literature, existing literature, organize those literature, and then be able to find your own research work, find a gap, and do something that can contribute to existing knowledge. That's what research is all about. One of the things I've found out for research is that you must learn to be super organized. You're dealing with volumes of books, articles, publications, and you need to find a way to be organized and save time. So there's something I always tell people. One thing that will save you in life when you're writing research is a tool that is called Everything. It's a search tool. It's called Everything. This is it. You need to download this search tool. And I say this because Everything search tool. Okay, I see that okay. Right. And the reason is because normally what you do when you're using your laptop, what you do is that you have a search bar in your laptop, and this search bar helps you to search whatever you're looking for, right? So if you have documents, if you have papers you want to search here. The challenge with this search box is that it only brings up documents that are easily identifiable, maybe based on the name you saved them with, or it brings you folders that are closely related to those names. The limitation of this search box is that you don't have the ability to look for certain, for example, imagine you have tons and tons of papers on your laptop. You don't have the time to be digging. Sometimes you just want a paper, and the only thing you can remember about that paper is that there is a phrase or a word inside that paper, and you want to be able to look for that paper. Or for example, I want to do something on green industrial policy, and I want to see everything I have on my laptop that is related to that, and I want to bring up all the documents related to what I want to work on. That's why you need Everything. So personally, when I want to work on my laptop, I don't start working if I don't have my Everything opened. It's the first thing I open, and this is how it works. This is it. It's the first thing that I open, because the moment I open Everything and I come here to search, it can look for anything for me. So I always tell people, get this tool, download it, have it on your laptop, have it on your desktop. Always start with it. It helps you to find your objects, to find your materials, to find everything you're looking for. One beautiful thing about it is that it also has what is called OCR, optical character recognition. And I'm going to put that in the chat box. Anybody know what this means?
Good morning. I think it's used, at least I think I've used it before to if I have a scanned PDF document that is not in text, I can use it to get out the text that is written in it.
Exactly. Thank you so much. What's your name, please?
My name is Chizurum.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you, Chizurum. That's exactly what it means. So Chinozo Peter is raising up your hand. I'm not sure if that means you have a question and you want me to just take your question. Or maybe you left the hand there after a long time, so it's fine. I just noticed that and I wanted to mention it. Now, Chizorum has said exactly what OCR means. OCR means that because in PDF, the moment you have converted a PDF to maybe JPEG, or it's no longer the text are no longer recognized because you've changed the format of that material, of that document, then it's difficult to search that document. But with optical character recognition, the tool is going to be able to identify the text within those things, even the text inside pictures. Now, the only thing is that those ones take some level of pain. So after paying for some things, you can find anything. But I mean, the free tools can still do fantastic jobs for you in terms of searching. So what you want to do is to have this, but I always tell people to make your life easier as well. Learn to file things properly. So if you're doing a research, create a library, create folders, and start developing your research. And that reminds me, maybe I will also be able to talk about Mendeley. But let's talk about everything now. So with everything, you come to this point, and I'm just looking for green industrial policy. And it shows me everything I have on green industrial policy, where I can start from. And I can go to this book or this particular document and I can start from there. And so the good thing is you're able to organize yourself. You're able to search anything. If you are writing and you remember that something is somewhere, you can easily bring it up. Another thing that you always want to use is your sticky notes. Either you use sticky notes or you use OneNote. Both of them are fantastic. So sticky notes, you can create your sticky notes. You can have different sticky notes for different things. You can make sure that you save them in different color codes. And this just helps you to jot down your thoughts. So if you are reading the document, you can put your sticky note beside the document. So I can open this quickly. I can share file from there easily. And if I have that document and I'm starting to research or to read about that document, this is the document. I can bring up my sticky notes just beside it. And as I'm reading my document, I can take my notes very quickly. And this gives me the basic to even start. But how do I now apply Elicit? Now, after having Elicit, I can now say, what are the, let's say I'm already beginning to think about my question and I want to understand it better. I want to query it. I want to find existing work in the line of what I want to do. So I could say, what are the hindrances? And I don't want to start using the same thing. Let me see if anybody has put anything in the chat box before that I can use. Or a piece of work that is relevant to anyone else. Okay, somebody said, let me look for the first one. Nature-based solution to floods in the UK. Fantastic. No, battle-based. Okay. I don't know if that is a mistake. Olasukomi, is that a mistake or this is what you mean?
It's a mistake. It's nature-based solutions to flood in the UK.
I thought as much. Nature-based solutions to floods in the UK. Can I change this to Nigeria because I love my country?
That's fine.
All right, let's search. So I just go to search. What happens is that this begins to look for every published paper, every paper that has been published that is relevant to my question or my topic. And it's going to bring all those paper titles on the left column, and it's going to give me the summary of the abstract on the right column. It takes a bit of time because it's looking for every existing paper. Now I'm beginning to have results. This is a paper by Fabi and Olukoyi on indigenous knowledge solution and local adaptation strategies to flooding in coastal rural communities in Nigeria. If I want to have a basic idea of what this paper is about, I just click on the abstract summary. And this is the abstract summary. So I can understand what these people have done quickly. If I feel like I want to ask a question about this paper, I can come to this. You can even ask, can I trust this paper? And it will tell you the study was qualitative. I can go and view the source. It says no mention of funding source. For those of us that are good with meta-analysis of paper, this is very useful for you. No mention found of participant counts, no mention found of multiple comparisons, no mention found of intent to treat. So for example, people that understand how to do impact evaluation when you're using RCT methods, randomized control trials for a research study, this is what it's saying here. So there was no intent to treat a group of people as maybe the treatment group as compared to the controlled group. No mention of found pre-registration. Possible critiques of the paper. So if you want to know if this paper has been critiqued by some people, if some people have said negative things about it, you can also find it. And people who have cited the paper in their work. And citations tell you how valid or how good, how the quality of the paper. You can see all those things here. And this is the summary. You can copy the summary. It also gives you the document identification number, which is the DOI. So this takes you directly to the document link, and it tells you how many citations that paper has. So the more the citation of a paper, the higher the quality. If a paper is very good, then the paper is well cited, particularly if the paper is an old paper. I mean, it also takes time for some works to get cited anyway. So for example, if I want to evaluate this paper, I look at the year. 2013 means that this paper was written 10 years ago, and in 10 years it has only gathered 34 citations. So that doesn't make it very good for me. So if I want to go back and look for papers with more citations, look at this one. This is a recent paper, not too recent, but at least 2017, 57 citations. This is 43 citations. Those are different things. Now I can also now say, for some of this paper, what did they even look for? What did they measure in the paper? So I can come here and say, tell me, let me pick this nature-based solution. Or I can even go here and say, I want to also see interventions that these papers looked at. So if there's any information on a specific intervention, is going to come here. Interventions are most applicable in social sciences field. So for sometimes in sciences field, it doesn't really come up. So you can see that in all these papers, you don't have any intervention. But I can come to outcome measures and say, for each of these papers, let me see what was the outcome that was actually measured. So look at this one. This is a very recent paper, 2023, and you can see it has no citation. So this doesn't mean that this paper is bad. It just tells you that this paper is very new. And the title is Review Article, Potential of Nature-Based Solutions to Mitigate Hydrometeorological Risk in Sub-Saharan Africa. I like this paper so much. But the good thing is I already now see the outcomes that were measured. So this paper has a report on nature-based solutions in urban areas of Sub-Saharan Africa. It has nature-based practices identified for flood, extreme heat, and drought mitigation. It talks about ecosystem services that are provided by these nature-based solutions, and it also delved into the livelihood opportunities created by them. This other paper talks about likelihood of negative consequences, reliability of flood defense, and tolerability of risk. So any outcome I'm interested in measuring in my work, I can already see papers that have information on them. So let's say I want to have a look at the paper. I can just open this quickly. And this is the paper. And I can take my time to print this, read it very well, or just read it online here. And don't forget, I said the other time, you can also do quick reading. So if I want to do quick reading of the paper, or I want to see what the paper is just saying, I can come to one of the research tools I talked about the other time, ChatPDF. So this is ChatPDF, and this tells you to drop the PDF here. So I'll go back to this document, I'll save the PDF, one good practice is to always save documents with the proper name. Please learn this. Always save documents with the proper title. It makes life easy when you're looking for it. So I can come here and copy, just a moment. I can come here and copy this title. And I can go back to save, put in the title, and I can save on my desktop for now. And the document is saved. I can go back to my ChatPDF and I can go back to my desktop. I'm just looking for that same document that I've just saved. This is the document. I can copy it here. This is it. And what I want to do now is that, just a moment. Is to process this paper with my chat PDF. And look at what this is doing for me. It's going through the entire paper and it gives me the summary of that paper. It tells me the questions I can ask this paper. So I can say, what are some of the examples of nature-based solutions discussed in this paper? I can come here, put the question, and see what it's going to do for me. It's telling me, without having read this paper, that in table 1 in the article list, the article lists some earlier nature-based related concepts that sought to work with nature. The article also discusses various nature-based solutions such as this, that. The other thing I can ask is, how do these solutions compare to traditional engineering approaches in terms of effectiveness and cost? And this paper can give me responses to this in less than 5 seconds. I can say, what are the challenges and limitations to implementing nature-based solutions in sub-Saharan Africa? This paper gives me the information I'm looking for in 1 second. I can do this for hundreds of papers in just 1 day. And I can begin to understand the summary, the key things. And if you have other questions you want to ask, you have other things you want to query, you can think about it, as many questions as make sense, that is answered in the question and in the paper. This can do it for you. A similar tool to that is this one, Casper AI. But the difference is that for ChatPDF, you need that paper in PDF, and then you bring the PDF to it. In this other one, you do it with existing you do it with the web page. So let's say, for example, we are talking about nature-based solutions here. Let me say I go here now and I say this. Are there challenges? This is the last question I had. Now, I'm trying to learn more about this last question that I ask on this platform. I'm trying to learn more about this. Challenges and limitations to implementing NBS in sub-Saharan Africa. So I've come here to look for this information. I can just find an interesting work. This is an interesting work from UKRI. I can open this work. And this is the work. This is what was okay. No, this looks like a funding opportunity. Let me look for a review article. Okay, this is a review article. Fantastic. Now this is a review article. Now this article, I may need to also quickly take information without necessarily downloading it. Maybe you're writing your paper, you just need something from somewhere. You don't need to download it again. You just want to quickly look at it. And you can use Casper AI. And I'm going to put this in the chat box. Thank you to Winnie, that's fine. Casper. So what I can do in Casper AI is to click Casper AI and tell it to summarize this page. Casper AI is generating results for me on how to summarize on the summary of this page, and I'll just give it a little bit of time and look at what it's doing. So Casper AI tells me what the entire document here is all about. Sorry, this one, drink water. And I can say if I'm looking for counter arguments, I can think of counter arguments if there are people who have critiqued this work. It's going to look for those criticism, and it's going to give me what those criticisms are. Look at it. So somebody here said one major concern is the cost of implementing green infrastructure projects. While they may provide environmental benefits, they often require significant financial investments. This could be a challenge for governments and municipalities with limited budgets, especially in developing countries where resources are limited. Now, this tells me that as good as this work is, these are the limitations of what they are saying. And if I'm looking for more insights into what the document is about, I can click on insights, and it will generate insights for me on what that document is about. And you can see it has given me 4 key things that the entire document is really about. And that's it here.